I'm Christina Mueller, and I'm here today with Samantha from McEvoy Ranch, which is one of my favorite places. And that sounded terrible. Stop that. I'm going to start again.
That's the beauty of this. It's the beauty of this. You can
Yes,
just start over. I love that.
just start over. Okay, so I'm Christina Mueller, and I'm here with Samantha from McEvoy Ranch, which is in Petaluma, not too far from where I'm sitting in Marin. Petaluma is just such a great place. There's so much agriculture going on there. Do you want to start, Samantha, by telling us a little bit about yourself and then a little bit about why McAvoy's in Petaluma?
You bet, Christina. Thank you so much for having me. And I get to talk about my favorite subject, which is olive oil. So this is fantastic. McAvoy Ranch, we're celebrating our 35th, we call it our 35th ranch anniversary this year. We've been in business for 35 years in Petaluma. And it's a 550-acre ranch where we make estate grown olive oil. So we have 50 acres of certified organic olive trees on the property, and we have an olive mill or frantoio where we make our olive oil. And we actually do a lot of custom milling for other growers in the area too, Christina, who come to McAvoy to make their olive oil with us too.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, because it's easy, much easier to grow trees than it is to have a mill. So, for those of us who are fortunate in our business to have a mill, it's a great way, one, to, put the equipment to use, but also to provide a community service for all of the other growers in the area.
Amazing. And Samantha, what actually do you do for McAvoy?
Christina, I'm the president of McEvoy Ranch and have had the honor of working for this incredible family for 24 years now.
Wow.
I joined the company in 2001 as a gardener and have worked in probably every area and every department of the company in the last 24 years.
Well, congratulations. That's just amazing. So, an anniversary is a big deal. 25 years with any business is a big deal. What are you going to do for your 25th celebration next year, right?
Oh
You'll
my
be there
gosh.
for 25 next year.
I know. Maybe like toast with some olive oil.
Yeah. Well, you can sip olive oil, so that's totally doable.
Exactly.
All right, so you have a lot of acreage of olive trees. Can you talk a little bit about sort of some of the varietals that you grow and why you've chosen those varietals for Petaluma specifically? Or, is there a reason like they grow better there, or maybe they're better for using in culinary purposes? Because you have a body line, a wellness line too.
That's true. Yeah, fantastic question. Mrs. McEvoy, who founded the ranch 35 years ago, was really quite enamored with Tuscan olive oil and befriended a wonderful man, Maurizio Castelli, who is an enologist in Tuscany. And he really guided her planting and importation of the original trees that came from Italy. And so what we have planted are typical Tuscan varieties, with the exception of one variety, Coratina, which comes from Puglia, from the south of
Mhm.
Italy. And these these olives, Christina, create an olive oil that's a little more pungent and a little more bitter. And I know pungent and bitter sound a little funny, but those are actually positive attributes when you're describing olive oil flavor. There's three kind of primary positive attributes that olive oil can have: fruitiness, pungency, and bitterness.
Okay.
And so these Tuscan varietals tend to have a little higher pungency and bitterness than other varieties um, that are grown in California and across the world, really. And then we compound that, Christina, by harvesting a little bit early.
Mhm.
And so as an early harvest olive oil, you get a little more of those flavors. And as the olive ripens, you get milder, kind of more buttery, mellower flavors.
Mhm.
But you also get fewer polyphenols.
Mhm.
So the polyphenol count in our olive oil tends to be pretty high. And the polyphenols are the
Yeah.
antioxidants and anti-inflammatory, have those anti-inflammatory properties that we really value.
Now, let me ask you this because it's my understanding that most olives are harvested in November. I remember doing an olive
Yeah,
harvest around Thanksgiving once.
absolutely.
What does early translate to? Like, what does that mean?
So that is November. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You're spot on. Absolutely. Whereas, a later harvest, there's some olives that will be sitting out on the trees until later December and even early January into January.
Ooh, can they endure frost?
Depends on it depends on the olive for
Uh,
sure. Certainly the olives with higher oil content are more frost resistant, whereas the big kind of juicy fat olives with more water in them tend to be a little more sensitive to frost because the water vacuum, the water will expand when
yeah.
it freezes and bursts the cells. So, yes, sorry, the short answer is they can withstand minimal frost, and then it depends on the variety.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Did not know that. So, I appreciate you sharing that information. So, I'm curious, you have a lot of different business lines. One of them is olive oil that you can, just put on the table and cook with or, use for salad dressing. You
Yep.
also do body products, which, one of my favorite products that's from McEvoy is your citrus body oil. I just adore it.
Oh,
Um,
that's a winner.
it smells so good. You don't have to add the scent, which I really like. You can choose your scent when you go to the checkout page. And I happen to really like the citrus, so I keep going for that one.
Great, thank you.
But you also have a line of flavored oils, and the one that really got my attention was the chai spice. So I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about, how you select olives for putting on the table as a table oil versus an olive you might select to use for flavored oil.
It's exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Yep, comes from the same trees, same orchards, same harvest. And so the one of the beautiful things about olive oil, which I really, really appreciate, is that those of us who are growing olives to make olive oil, it's like our best fruit goes into these products.
Mhm.
Whereas some other cooking oils on the market, calling you out, avocado, sorry, but their first run high quality fruit is going to the supermarket shelf. And so what's going into the oil product is, secondary, tertiary in quality. Whereas the olive oil, that we're making, it's our best fruit, it's our first run fruit. And so the olives that we mill to make into extra virgin olive oil is exactly the same set of olives that we use to make our flavored oils.
I did not think that was a thing. Maybe because for years I've heard that, for body products, you use like a second tier, oil. And for anything culinary, you use sort of the first run or the higher quality oil. So I'm glad to know that distinction there.
Well, that does happen in the world.
Yes.
Just doesn't happen at McEvoy Ranch.
The world
So,
is a big place.
so the olive oil that's going into the beauty products and that's going into your citrus body oil, extra virgin, high quality, the same oil that we're putting into bottles and putting on your kitchen table.
Well, that's incredible. And it's noticed because, gosh, it smells amazing. So,
Don't you think? I mean, it makes a significant difference, right? When you have that standard of quality
yeah,
that's through line, it
yeah.
really does come out in the final product.
It really does. It's a beautiful thing. Let's talk a little bit about the chai spice oil. That's the one that I sampled. And one of the things you notice right away when you open the bottle of that oil is that it just has this redolence, this amazing aroma. And I'm wondering if you can explore a little bit about how you get the spices into the oil to keep that character.
So I'm really glad you brought up the chai spice olive oil because it's one of my favorites and it's a very unusual product. Christina, there is no one else in the world that I know of who's making a product, this kind of product. So the chai spice olive oil is olives is the primary ingredient. And then in addition, we've added cardamom, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, and black pepper. And so those spices actually go into the mill when we're crushing the olives. And so the process that we're using is a co-milled process where the flavors actually infuse together during the oil extraction process. So the olives go into the mill, the hammer mill, where they go from being olives to where and then they're turned into paste. And at that time, these spices are added, and we literally in a pitcher just kind of put it in the mill with the olives.
Hmm.
And then the olives are crushed and made into a paste, everything, right? Pit, flesh, skin, everything. And the spices in there at that time. And then during the malaxation process, which is a, 40-ish minute process where the paste slowly turns in a warm sleeve, that's when the flavors develop. And that's when the oil is actually absorbing and combining with the other flavors that are in the malaxer. And so if you introduce chai spice, that's what will absorb. If you introduce ginger turmeric, that's what they'll absorb. Lemon, all of the above. And then the paste is sent to the decanter where the oil is extracted, and then finally to the separator where the last little bit of water is wicked out. And the oil that emerges has this flavor imbued in it and combined with it. It's really an extraordinary flavor experience, and very much unlike the oils that are made first as just extra virgin olive oil and then flavored later.
Right. So if I understood you correctly, you actually take, the black pepper, the ginger, the cardamom, the allspice. I'm sure I'm missing one.
All right.
And those spices go in with the olives. They're not like in a
Yeah.
separate sachet or a
Nope.
container. They're
Nope.
actually just mixed with the paste.
Yep.
And then 40 minutes, they come out on the other end as this beautiful oil. And then what do you do with the paste, with the spices mixed in?
Right. So once the paste goes through the decanter, oil comes out one part, and then what's left is called pumice because it's what's left without the olive oil in it. And so the pumice has remnants of the spices in it, and what comes out as oil just has these extraordinary flavors imbued into it.
Hmm. All right.
All that pumice, sorry to answer your question, all that pumice goes out onto our compost pad and we compost it and then put it back out on the orchards.
Okay. So there you go.
Yep.
It's a full life cycle product there.
Oh
I
yeah,
wonder.
completely. Christina, I don't want to, hound that topic too hard, but it really is a pretty closed loop system. The only thing that leaves the property is the oil itself,
Yeah.
which is a very small percentage of what the trees make. So all the prunings get chipped and go back out into the orchards. All the paste gets composted and goes back out into the orchards. So it's a very sustainable system.
And your compost must smell amazing.
Yeah, it kind of does actually. Yeah. It has this kind of warm, cheesy smell to it
Huh.
in a good way, like in a nice, pleasant way.
Yeah, I'm wondering like where because I wonder about the compound. Like we could go down that road with the compounds of cheese versus olive, but we won't. We'll save that for another time. So the chai spice is you can buy it. It's quite a small bottle. I want to say it's like 2 ounces,
Yeah, 100 milliliters.
100
So,
milliliters. Yep.
yep.
And it's you can buy it on its own, and you can also buy it as part of your signature collection, right? Which includes the chili oil, the ginger turmeric oil, and the lime oil as well, right? So you really get a breadth of flavor of McEvoy.
That's what we were trying to accomplish with the signature collection is really um, in small, manageable quantities, introducing our customers to these flavored oils and to give them ideas about how to use them. Because I think that's probably our most common question is, okay, so you've made this product. What am I going to do with this? And so one, you're right, offering it in a small container feels really manageable. And then in the signature collection, we have a card with serving suggestions. So for example, with the chai spice, one way that I use it every day is I mix a little bit of chai spice olive oil with my cream in the morning and then add my coffee
Mhm.
to that. So it's kind of like a bulletproof-ish coffee, but instead of MCT or coconut oil, you use a little bit of olive oil.
Mhm.
Or we serve it over vanilla ice cream
Yeah.
at Ranch, and it's a delicious dessert. It actually goes really well with a lot of different desserts, over brownies, over shortbread. I use it a lot as kind of a healthy version of cinnamon toast. You just make a little toast. Usually I put some butter on and then the chai spice olive oil on top of that.
Yeah.
And it's like having cinnamon toast, but without the sugar. So,
So what I've done with it since I've had it in my life is I
yeah.
actually have been sampling a chai tea, which I make. It's a black tea, and the spice is already mixed in, but I add a little of the spice oil just to make it like that much more delicious. And then I've drizzled it over strawberries. Um, there's
Mm.
something really redolent about the spices that works with that, like a little bit of the acid of the strawberries. And then something that I actually have on my website that that you guys gave to me is the chai old fashioned.
Yeah, that's
Um,
a winner.
so
That's a
just a
winner.
new way to think about working with olive oil, I think, is you can add this delicious, these delicious warming spices to your cocktail in this very easy way with the olive oil. It's
I
just so
love all
good.
of those ideas. I haven't tried the chai spice with the strawberries. I'm definitely going to have to try that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I also, you said oatmeal, I think, right? I've also put
Oh
in
yeah,
oatmeal. Yeah.
classic, classic, totally. Yep.
That's a really good
Oh, but I love that you brought up the olive oil in cocktails. It's something that we've been seeing a huge increase in popularity of folks adding a little olive oil to their cocktails. It gives a wonderful mouthfeel and just adds another layer of complexity to interesting cocktails.
Yeah, it really does. So I'm, for one, recommending the signature collection. I think it's just a beautiful gift to receive and just so speaks to Northern California and the food shed here and all the imagination and work that your team has put into creating beautiful olive oil products. So,
Oh, thank you. I really do have to say, I don't think we would be successful with these oils outside of California. I mean, being in the Bay Area, Christina, with the food scene that we have here and the diversity that we have here, and then the fusion of flavors and cultures that we really enjoy here in the Bay Area has really pushed us to want to bring olive oil to everybody's table
yes.
and to bring these multiple flavors in from all aspects of life and our lives and our families' lives. And so I I appreciate that nod because I don't think you could I don't know. It doesn't feel as likely that you could do this outside of the Bay Area or outside of California.
There's definitely a passion for local, and I think our climate is so perfectly suited to growing olives. So who knows
And that
what's
piece too. And then, right, just the agricultural piece on top of the people culture piece.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
very
So to
true.
have those two together is just it's a magic place here.
It really is. And the sun actually came out today. We've had about 4 weeks of just winter tule fog, and today it's gorgeous again. So
Exactly.
very happy for that. So I'm just going to wrap this up, Samantha, by saying thank you so much for being on my podcast. I really look forward to tasting more of your team's work. It's so exciting just to be a part of the McEvoy community. And I'm going to stop the recording now and we can keep chatting.